Hello, friend. Welcome to today's story. Have you ever wondered how a single moment, just one unexpected question, could turn an ordinary day into the beginning of a life? Changing story. In a quiet seaside town, a little girl looked up at a stranger and asked, "Are you my daddy?" That question unlocked a secret buried for years, pulling love, betrayal, and destiny into the light. Stay with me until the end, because what happens next will leave you breathless. The rain pressed against the windows of Harbor Brew, a tiny cafe by the docks of Willow Bay. The soft glow of amber lights reflected off the wet glass, turning the storm into silver streak. Inside, warmth lingered, coffee bean, pastry, and the low hum of conversation. Behind the counter, Rachel moved quickly but gracefully, carrying a tray stacked with mugs. 27. Hair pulled back, sleeves rolled. Her smile was tired but genuine, the kind that held the weight of 1,000 late nights. At the corner table, little Lily sat with crayons scattered across the wood. 4 years old, her curls bounced as she hummed a tune, pressing yellow into the shape of a sun. Every now and then, her bright blue eyes wandered to her mother, studying her as if searching for answers. The bell above the door jingled. Cold air rushed in, bringing the scent of rain. A tall man in a gray suit stepped inside, his jacket damp around the edges. He paused at the entrance, scanning the room like he didn't belong here. Ethan Caldwell, 29, CEO of Caldwell Innovations, a company the newspapers like to call the future of American tech. He wasn't supposed to be here. This wasn't a boardroom, or an airport lounge, or a penthouse suite. This was a detour, forced by the storm. He brushed the rain off his shoulders, checked his phone, and chose a seat by the window. His presence shifted the air, even before he spoke a word. People noticed him, but he didn't notice the little girl who had stopped coloring. Lily's crayon slipped from her fingers. Her eyes widened, locked on the stranger. She slid off her chair, tiny shoes tapping against the wooden floor. Something about him felt familiar. Too familiar. She stopped beside his table. "Mister," she whispered. Then, a little louder, "Are you my daddy?" The cafe froze. Ethan looked up sharply, nearly dropping his phone. His gaze collided with hers, big, searching eyes that mirrored his own. Rachel turned just in time. Her tray slipped, cups shattered against the floor, coffee flooding the cracks between the plank. Conversations halted. Every pair of eyes shifted to the scene unraveling near the window. Lily tilted her head, studying him carefully. "You look like the man in Mommy's picture," she said softly, "the one on her nightstand." Ethan's lips parted. He had no words. The world narrowed to the child staring at him and the woman frozen across the room. Rachel's breath caught. Her heart slammed against her chest like a drum. She wanted to move, to say something. Anything, but her legs locked in place. "Mommy." Lily turned toward her. "This is him, isn't it?" Rachel couldn't speak. Her vision blurred. Her knees threatened to give. She forced herself forward, step by shaky step, until she stood near the table. Ethan rose slowly, confusion etched on his face. "Rachel?" His voice broke on her name. "Is it really you?" Her lips trembled. For years, she had imagined this moment, dreaded it, prayed for it. Now it was here, raw and real, and she didn't know if she could breathe. "Yes," she whispered. One word, small as a threat, heavy as a storm. Ethan blinked, glancing between them. His eyes lingered on the little girl's curls, the curve of her cheek, the way she tilted her head just like he once did. It hit him like a blow. Lily looked at him again. "So, you are my daddy." Ethan dropped into the chair, hands shaking as he tried to steady his voice. I don't know what to say." Rachel's jaw tightened. She picked up a glass of water from the tray, set it in front of him, her hand brushing his for the briefest second. Electricity sparked, painful and undeniable. She turned to leave, but Ethan called after her. "Wait." She froze. "Mommy has a picture of you," Lily added, tugging at his sleeve. "She looks at it every night. She thinks I don't see, but I do." The words sliced through it. He swallowed hard, staring at Rachel with disbelief, regret, longing. Across the room, the whispers had begun. Customers leaned close, eyes darting, curiosity thick in the air. But Rachel heard none of it. Only her daughter's voice. Only Ethan's silence. Her past had just walked back through the door. And her carefully built life was about to unravel. Rain hammered harder against the glass. Outside, thunder rolled. Inside, Ethan pushed himself to his feet. Eyes locked on Rachel. "I didn't know," he said. Voice wrought. "God." "Rachel, I didn't know." Her hands clenched into fists. "Not here," she muttered, trembling. "Not like this." But Lily clutched her mother's hand, eyes darting between them, too innocent to understand the storm swirling above her head. And just like that, Rachel's mind was pulled backward, 5 years, to sunshine on campus lawn, to late night drama, to promises whispered under string lights, to the boy she loved, before the man in front of her was swallowed by power, distance, and silent. She remembered the laughter, the small notes slipped into her books, the flower he once tucked behind her ear. She remembered believing in forever, and she remembered the day he left. The envelope, the goodbye, the weight of silence. Her vision stung with tears. The cafe blurred. All she could hear was Lily's voice, echoing in her chest. "Are you my daddy?" Rachel blinked, fighting to hold herself upright. Ethan's stare burned into her, demanding answers, offering none. The storm raged both outside and within, and in that fragile, breathless moment, time stopped, because the next word out of Rachel's mouth could change everything. Forever. Rachel gripped the counter in the empty cafe kitchen. The night had quieted, but her pulse hadn't slowed since the moment her daughter called him daddy. She could still hear the crash of glass, still feel the weight of Ethan's stare. Behind her, footstep. Ethan leaned against the doorway. Jacket gone, shirt sleeves rolled, rain still drying in his hair. He didn't speak at first, just let the silence hang like smoke. Finally, his voice cracked. "Rachel, I swear to you, I didn't know." She spun around, anger flashing. "Didn't know. I wrote you. I begged you to answer. I went to your house. I went to your office. You vanished." Ethan's jaw tightened. His eyes glistened. "My father, he cut me off from everything when I left for London. Call, email, mail. He told me you moved on, that you didn't want me." Rachel shook her head, laughter bitter on her lips. "Moved on. I was pregnant. Ethan, I was alone, holding pieces of the life you broke." The words pierced him. He pressed a hand against the wall, steadying himself. "God, I thought I lost you. I thought you were gone." Rachel's voice dropped, trembling. "I wasn't gone. I was right here, waiting, every single day." The kitchen fell quiet. Through the doorway, Lily lay curled on the bench, asleep, her small hand resting on Ethan's jacket. The sight shattered him. He stepped forward, lifting her gently into his arms, holding her close as if making up for years in a single embrace. "She's perfect," he whispered. His lips brushed her hair. "I miss so much." Rachel's throat ached. She wanted to scream, to collapse, to believe. Instead, she folded her arms tight, barricading her heart. "You don't get to walk back in and claim what you abandoned." Ethan turned, eyes feared. "I didn't abandon her. Or you. I was lied to. And if it takes the rest of my life, I'll prove it." The next morning, he returned. And the morning after that, and the one after. Rachel unlocked the cafe door at sunrise, only to find Ethan already there. Sleeves rolled, ready to work. He stacked chairs, wiped counters, greeted the early fishermen with easy charm. Customers whispered. A billionaire CEO wiping down tables. It didn't make sense. But Ethan never acted entitled. He didn't demand. He showed up. In the afternoons, he walked Lily home from preschool. She clung to his finger, babbling about paint colors and snack time. He listened, laughed, crouched down to tie her shoelaces when they came undone. Rachel watched from a distance, She saw the way Lily lit up around him. She saw the softness in his face, the care in his gesture. Slowly, the walls she had built began to tremble. One evening, Lily ran into the living room, waving a drawing. "Look, Mommy, it's us. You, me, and Daddy." She held the paper high, 3 stick figures, hands joined under a bright yellow sun. Rachel's chest tightened. She forced a smile, kissed her daughter's head, but her eyes burned with tears. The fragile piece shattered days later. It began with a cough. Then Lily pressed her cheek to the table and whispered, "Mommy, I feel floating." Rachel's hand flew to her daughter's forehead, burning. Panic clawed through her chest. "I need to get her to the hospital," she gasped, fumbling for her keys. "I'll take her." Ethan cut in. His jacket was already off. He wrapped it around Lily's small body, scooping her into his arms. "Ethan," Rachel began. "No time." His voice was sharp, urgent. He burst through the cafe doors into the storm. Rain lashed against him, but he didn't slow. His shoes splashed through puddles as he ran, Lily clinging weakly to his chest. Rachel chased behind, her breath ragged, fear choking her. At the hospital, Ethan pushed through the doors, shouting for help. Nurses rushed forward, whisking Lily away. Rachel stumbled in, soaked and trembling. Minutes later, the doctor returned, face grim. "She needs a transfusion. The strain is rare. Only a precise match will work." His eyes flicked to Ethan. You're the match." Rachel froze. Ethan's head jerked up. "Take whatever you need. Don't waste a second." The room spun. Rachel pressed a hand over her mouth, tears streaming. Hours passed in a blur. Finally, she was led into the recovery room. Lily lay asleep under thick blankets, her cheeks pale but peaceful. And beside her, Ethan sat, arm bandaged, hand wrapped around his daughter's tiny fingers. His voice was low, soothing. "Once upon a time, there was a bear who lost his way. But then he found his family again." He paused, eyes glistening, and he never left them again. Ever. Rachel stood in the doorway, chest heaving. For the first time, she didn't see the man who left. She saw the man who stayed. Ethan leaned down, pressing his lips to Lily's forehead. His voice cracked. "Daddy's here now. I won't ever leave again." Rachel stepped forward, unable to stop herself. She lifted a towel, gently dabbed Lily's forehead, then placed her other hand on Ethan's shoulder. A small gesture, but it carried every unsaid word. He looked up, eyes locking with hers, and for one fragile heartbeat, the storm outside faded, leaving only the stillness of something new. Something beginning. But beginnings never come without shadows, and theirs was about to arrive, cloaked in power and disapproval, ready to tear apart the fragile peace they had found. The whispers around Willow Bay spread like wildfire. A billionaire CEO spotted day after day in a cafe, serving coffee, walking a little girl home from school. People wondered, people talk, but Rachel tried to block it all out, focusing only on Lily's laugh and the man who kept showing up. That peace shattered one Saturday morning. A sleek black car pulled up outside Harbor Brew. The door opened, and out stepped Charles Caldwell. His presence filled the room before he even spoke. Impeccably dressed, silver hair slicked back, eyes sharp as glass. He scanned the cafe, then fixed his gaze on Rachel. "So, you must be her." Rachel froze, coffee scoop trembling in her hand. The air felt heavy. Before she could answer, Ethan appeared from the kitchen, apron tied around his waist. Their eyes locked, father and son, generations colliding. Charles's voice was low, measured. "We need to talk. Later." In the boardroom of Caldwell Innovations, the air smelled of polished wood and power. Charles stood at the head of the table, executives lining the wall. Ethan faced him, hands steady at his side. "I gave you time," Charles began, voice booming. "I let you disappear into whatever fantasy you needed to chase. But it ends now. You have a company to run, a legacy to uphold." Ethan's reply was calm. "The company hasn't suffered. Operations continue. The board is satisfied. The board doesn't matter. Charles snapped. His glare cut like a knife. What matters is your image. And she, his tone dipped with contempt, does not belong in it. Ethan straightened. Voice firm. You're talking about the mother of my child. Charles sneered. She's a waitress. A single mother. Do you think investors will respect a leader who drags his empire down for a fling? Something inside Ethan broke free. His voice rose. Steady but fierce. Then let them walk away. Let the empire fall. Because I won't trade my family for a boardroom. Gasps rippled around the table. Charles's face burned red. His fists clenching at his side. You're throwing away everything I built for you. No, Ethan said softly. I'm walking toward everything I finally believe in. That night, Rachel found a folded paper in Ethan's jacket. Notes from the board meeting. Scrawled in his handwriting. He had chosen her. Chosen them. And the realization terrified her. In their small apartment above the bookstore, she sat at the table, pen shaking in her hand. She wrote through tears, You've given me more than I ever dreamed by coming back. But I can't let you lose everything for it. I love you too much to let you burn your life down. Please know I'll always be grateful for what you've given Lily. But I have to go. She folded the letter, placed it beside the photo of the three of them, smiling at the beach, then packed a bag. That night, while the town slept, Rachel lifted Lily into her arms and slipped quietly into the dark. When Ethan returned the next morning, the silence hit harder than any storm. He found the letter, read it once, twice, then again, until the words blurred. His knees buckled. The photo shook in his trembling hand. He searched everywhere. Train stations, bus depots, hospitals. He asked strangers if they'd seen a woman with a little girl. He didn't sleep. He barely ate. The letter stayed in his pocket. Corners frayed from being unfolded too many times. 1 week later, at dawn, a memory struck it. A hidden garden behind St. Helena University. A place of lilacs and wisteria, where they once carved their dreams into the air. He drove straight there, and he saw them. Rachel sat on a weathered bench, her hair pulled back loosely, hands clasped in her lap. Nearby, Lily chased a butterfly across the grass, her laughter carrying in the morning light. Ethan stopped, breath stolen. It was a painting come to life. Rachel turned, sensing him. Her face crumbled. Tears filled her eyes before she could speak. I'm sorry, she whispered. I thought I was protecting you. I didn't want to be the reason you lost everything. Ethan stepped closer, shaking his head. His voice broke. You're not a burden, Rachel. You never were. You are everything I never stopped wanting. Her hand trembled against her mouth. But your father, your company. I don't need a crown built on lies, he said. I need a home built on truth. Then, slowly, he reached into his pocket. From it, he pulled a worn velvet box. He dropped to one knee in the damp grass. This was supposed to be yours years ago, he said, opening it to reveal a silver ring. Simple but shiny. I carried it with me through boardrooms and airport, even when I thought I'd never see you again. Rachel gasped, tears streaking down her face. I'm not asking for perfection, Ethan said softly. I'm asking for us, for family, for forever. At that moment, Lily spotted him. She ran barefoot through the grass, flinging her arms around his neck. Daddy, she squealed, pressing her face into his shoulder. He held her close, ring still in his hand, heart breaking open. Lily looked between them, eyes wide with hope. So, are we a family now? Rachel sank to her knees beside them. Her answer came not in words first, but in the way her trembling hand slid over his. She nodded through tears. Yeah, we're a family. 1 month later, under a canopy of wildflowers and string lights by the sea, they stood together as the sun dipped low. Rachel wore a white dress that fluttered in the breeze. Lily skipped ahead, scattering petals from a small basket. There were no photographers, no headline, no speeches of wealth or power. Only promises whispered against the sound of waves. When Ethan kissed Rachel, lifting Lily into his arms between them, the little girl giggled. clinging tight. For the first time, they were whole. And somewhere in the crowd of onlookers, silent, unnoticed, Charles Caldwell stood at a distance. In his hand, a single white lily. He placed it on a bend, turned, and walked away. The tide rolled in. The sky burned gold, and Ethan Caldwell knew with absolute certainty he hadn't lost everything. He had found everything. Thank you so much for spending your time with this story today. If it touched your heart, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in love and second chances. Your support means the world and helps us keep bringing stories that matter. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below and join the discussion. See you in the next story, and I wish you all the best. With warmth and kindness always by your side.